in the night, your heart fills with dread. Probably a murderer who wants you dead. It could be a ghost, a demon, or worse. Perhaps you're the victim of a witch's curse. It's hopeless, you're doomed. You'd call a priest if you could. You'd rather just listen to who? Sinisterhood.
Welcome to another edition of Freaky Friday, where we tell your odd but true stories. It is Friday, September 5th, and I feel like people are saying it switches, like the September 1st becomes officially spooky season, but it's like always spooky season around here. Look at you, look at me.
1st is September. Well, the other day, Tommy was like, I guess we can put out our Halloween decorations soon. I was like, babe, it's September 3rd. I don't think we should yet.
Maybe it's just my my algorithm, but I saw people be like me on like August 31st and it's like summer, and then it's like me on September 1st, like inside of a pumpkin. And I was like, well, I got a doorbell ring today, and my impulse buy, thanks to our friend Nelson from the Ghost Guild, came today.
Oh my. Oh my.
They are the Ghostbusters Crocs. We'll have to have Paris pull this video clip, and it looks like the ghost trap at the bottom, but it looks like Slimer jizzed all over the feet.
What are they made? Are they rubber?
They are. So I remember I told you they were canvas. So the strap to put them in sport mode is kind of canvas, and then there's a little strap of canvas, but this is plastic. And then this is a little Velcro name, and then they give you like a stack of names or whatever. But
what do the names say?
it's the four Spangler, Stan, Spankman, and Zedmore. So it's, I guess, depending on what costume you're doing, but it does have a little Slimer gibbet.
It does,
and then a little ghost trap gibbet on that one. It's very
there you go.
Cute. That's and you're all ready too with your hat. It's on theme of our show.
Oh, that's just my everyday life, but
Yeah,
it's too hot for me to think about pumpkin picking and haunted houses just yet, but I'm almost there. I feel like after next weekend, there's going to be like a cooling off period, I hope.
That's what we need, is a chill in the air, because today was 94 when I was out for a run, and I was like, I can't stop sweating.
Oh, yes. I came home from walking this morning and was like, I don't want to get in the shower because I just want to sit, but I'm so sweaty. So I just had to like put a towel down and just sit.
That's what Paris does to do. He'll be like, I'm just so you know, I'm not going to mess up the furniture. I was like, get the sitting towel. And go
I'm like, I'll just stand here and cool off until I'm ready to
allow me
to move past this.
Drip dry from the inside for sure. Well, seasonal or not, it's about to be in 1 month, exactly less than a month as you're hearing this, is our show, Season of the Witch, at the Texas Theater. I was just there last night. I saw Jaws. I fucking love that building. The whole place. I'm so excited for us to perform there again.
It's a cool building. It's historical. Yeah. Everyone that works there is very nice. It's a very cool stage.
Yeah, it's so good. So come out and see us October 4th at the Texas Theater. We're doing all kinds of the history of witches and things behind them, and our own experiences and all kinds of stuff. So we can't wait to share it all with you.
It's going to be a great time. It's our only land show of the year. So if you want to see us on land, you got to come to Dallas, Texas, October 4th, 2025. If you want to see us by sea, November 3rd through 7th, we're leaving out of Fort Lauderdale. Crime Wave at Sea 2025. We're going to be cruising, y'all, on the Bermuda Triangle, in the Bermuda Triangle, through it. I don't know how it likes to be referred to. But we're going to the Bahamas. We're going to a private island. We got days at sea. There's live podcast recording, fan meetups, meet and greets with all the creators and fans. Plus, we're all just going to be like hanging out on a ship together. So we're just kind of all hanging out vacationing at all hours of the day.
Right. It's going to be nice and cool and spooky here. And then we're going to go get on a boat and do spookiness in our bathing suits. So go to our website, sinisterhood.com/live shows, and get all the info on the tickets there. And as soon as we have a streaming option for Season of the Witch, we'll throw it y'all's way as well. So we can't wait. But today, thank you so much for curating the lineup. There's quite a lot of stories today that made me tear up. I mean, cut me to my core in some places. So it's a mascara alert.
Gear up, everybody, because the first 3 are all about shootings. So
just be aware.
If that's not what you like to listen to, I totally get it. So maybe just skip these first 3. And then we've got some more spooky ones in the later half.
Got me thinking about basements, I'll tell you that.
Dude,
no thanks.
Totally opposite, but I want an attic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I have an attic,
but no.
But like several of my friends, they have houses where their attics have been finished out for like playrooms, and I'm like, that's what I'm trying to get. Dude. But our attic has like 2-foot ceiling, so no one's allowed to play up there unless you're a toddler, I guess.
Crawling only. Well, you know what? It's just like, but cut a hole and you can stargaze and you just lay on your back and look out. But I finished attic, man. I bet you can. We'll figure out how to add on
finished
something.
Attic, finished basement. We don't have basements in Texas,
no.
But if Pee Wee Herman taught us, it was there are no basements in Texas. But I think that up north, that would be the equivalent of like your game room, your rompus room that you get finished out.
Oh, yeah. And it's like the cool place to hang. And especially if we could like put the studio up there or do witchy shit up there too. Rain or shine someday.
Dream.
We'll
Several people I know right now are having entire second stories added to their house. And every day I look at my house, I'm like, but how do they just take it off? And then where does the staircase go? And it was kind of being explained to me today. And it's interesting when you take a single floor house and make it into 2, they just kind of put it where they can.
I guess so. You try to figure it out and go, maybe like this. Like, yeah, it's just an exact replica.
Or it's like in a room that like maybe it normally wouldn't be. But normally you walk in somebody's home and the stairs are like, in the foyer or something. Well, I don't know. I'll climb a ladder. I don't give a shit. I just want to finish out attic where I can do my spells in peace.
The best part is if the staircase is hidden. My cousin got an addition in an old house she lived in, and the staircase was like way in the back of the house. Like if you would have to know to go back there to get up there, because it was like their adult kids had like a loft / like they could stay there if they wanted to during college. And I was like, this is what you need, where it's like, this isn't for like everyone to come up here. It's just mine. It's
an
a bookshelf.
Exclusive. If you know, we could get a bookshelf.
No, use your bookshelf, split it, make it to where you go, and then it comes out, and then it's a bookshelf that you could get through.
That would be dope.
Damn, that's the move. That's the move. Well, someday.
Well, I'll get on all that someday. Well, in the meantime, we've got a lineup of freaky stories. So I'm Christy.
I'm Heather.
And let's get freaky. This first one is called Incident with Local Police. It's from Goose. I'm assuming it's not your dog, but if it is, tell them thank you, please.
Thank you.
And content warning, this discusses the police shooting of a minor. Goose writes, "Hello, ladies. Thank you for everything you do and for always being there to talk away my boredom. I could go on for ages about my appreciation for you, but today I'd like to use my time to talk about something serious. I wasn't involved directly, but I do know people that know this young man personally, and I cannot be silent. On September 1st, just 2 days ago, my town's police department shot a 15-year-old boy 4 times. I will say to start that he is still with us and has undergone surgery, but is now in stable condition. The boy was in a mental health crisis and had just been involved in a heated argument with his father before the event. He fled the scene of the altercation and was found by the officers on the highway by our local Hardys. He did have a knife and he was in clear distress, telling the police to shoot him and making other threats while brandishing the knife. The cop shot him 4 times. They carry tasers and mace. They're supposed to be trained in de-escalation. But this officer looked at a child in crisis and decided to shoot him 4 times, rather than use any other means he had at hand. I worry that with the cuts to mental health services, we're going to be seeing more incidents like this one. People in crisis who run headfirst into a police system that simply does not care about them. I am disgusted by the actions of the officers on the scene, and I wish nothing but help and healing for the young man who was injured so greatly. Something has to change. The system is so incredibly broken, and I wish I had all the answers. I do know, however, that the first answer should never be to pull out the most lethal weapon you possess. Thank you for taking the time to read this. I appreciate you giving your listeners an outlet for these types of discussions. I will attach below a link to a local news station who did a post about the situation. I will also say that the incident was recorded by a bystander and has also been uploaded onto Facebook. I will not be attaching that, as I don't think that's something that anyone should have to see.
Oh, Goose.
Well, Goose, we appreciate you sending this in, and I couldn't agree more. This sounds like a situation that just should never have happened.
Yeah, when you hear like a teenager in crisis and they're met with bullets instead of de-escalation care, it's so heart-wrenching. I'm glad that Dallas has this type of crisis intervention training. They have like a couple of, first responders who are not police officers, but that get dispatched to these scenes and stuff like that, where the officers themselves are trained in spotting when someone is in some type of crisis and going, I got to call on the CIT team. Mm-hmm. And if you're in any city you're in, not just Goose, but if whatever city you're in, if your police team doesn't have that, that's something you can push your city councilor to fund, to direct resources to. NAMI sometimes is the partner organization, things like that. It's something to be aware of in your city. And if you don't have it and you want to see it, I think we feel powerless, but oftentimes things get changed because one person is relentless and continues to show up and is pissed off, and people don't even know that resources like that exist. So might be a good one.
It's unreal wild to me that a grown man would see a teenager clearly in distress that has a weapon, but there's multiple police officers with bigger weapons, and you don't have to go for the biggest weapon because 4 times?
Yeah.
Why was 4 even? I mean, 1 is too many, but 4 is insanity.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope that that officer gets training. I don't know what happens in these incidents. And I also hope this kid he's the one that obviously is suffering the most, gets the help he needs. But to your point, Goose, of you're not going to link the thing to Facebook. Thank you. We would not include it either, but I get why filming is necessary in these situations to have a record of it. So the cops can't say, I didn't do that. You do not need to ever upload to a social media platform something like this happening to anyone, but a minor especially. That's
a good point. Yeah. Putting this online without his family's consent is certainly, or, his consent is certainly, in my opinion, a bridge too far. That Right to Be organization says one of the intervention things you can do is to film things, but that at the end of the incident, go to the victim and say, I have this footage. Do you want me to email it? Do you want me to save it? Do you want me to delete it? You're the subject. Yeah. I will defer to you. So in situations like that, where it's not the family going, I want people to see what happened to my kid, and he wants everybody to see it too. That's one thing. But if it's like the local clout station that's like, oh man, look at that. Like, I don't know. I mean, people are trying their best, but oftentimes I think it's for the views and not for the community awareness.
Absolutely. And can oftentimes do more harm than damage as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think about this kid's anonymity and, protecting that.
Yeah, not to mention just his family and everybody being re-victimized, seeing that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
I wish him a speedy recovery, and I hope that the officers involved receive additional training and that the whole department sees this as an opportunity that if a kid's screaming, shoot me, go ahead and kill me, don't listen to a teenager in a mental health crisis who's intoxicated. No. One of the articles mentioned that some sort of substance was involved. I think that's the moment you call the crisis cops, because that Ernie and Joe Crisis Cop movie we watched, the documentary, like it showed that exact situations. The guy's like wielding something and the answer is coming in, taking a lower position, sitting going, hey man, what's going on? Like, what's up? So, and before they get to the point that they're cornered like a scared animal in a Hardee's parking lot or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, bless them.
And if you can't do that, you could at least tase somebody or mace somebody before you shoot them 4 times.
Yeah, I think so. But, well, hopefully the kid feels better soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Goose, for sending that in.
Sinisterhood will be right back. This is an ad by BetterHelp.
We've all done it before, turning to our barista, hairdresser, or random stranger in the bathroom for life advice. As fun as they are to talk about with everyday topics, when you're looking for help about relationships, anxiety, depression, or other clinical issues, they may not have all the right answers. Instead, get guidance from a licensed therapist online with BetterHelp.
I love talking to my BetterHelp therapist. Monday mornings, we have our standing appointment. And so many times, which shouldn't surprise me because she's a professional, they'll be like, damn, that's so insightful. Like, why didn't I think of that? So many things in my life have changed. And I'm like, I'm a smart person. I should be able to figure this out on my own. Yes, Heather, you are smart, but you are not a licensed therapist.
Go and take someone from the outside to see it to give you advice. Yeah.
I mean, technically my law license says attorney and counselor at law. And I'm like, not that kind though. So, everybody needs a little help. And, I love that I can be open about it with you. You've always extolled the virtues of therapy and I'm glad I signed up.
I am too. You speak very highly of her all the time. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. And it works with an App Store rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on over 1.7 million client reviews. That's the type of reviews we're trying to get.
For real.
4.9 out of 5? That's
not that helpful. It's fine.
That's almost 5.
That's so close. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp.
Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/sinister. That's betterhelp.com/sinister. Well, this next one's from Kristen and is called The Time I Almost Got Shot by My Neighbor. Hi, y'all. I grew up in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, a town about 20 miles outside of Nashville. When I was a teenager, my parents ran a haunted house during the Halloween season, and I, being a broke teen, volunteered to work there. After my shift, I went home while my parents closed the haunted house. When I got home, I immediately set out about letting our dog outside to go to the bathroom. Let me interject and say we had Great Danes growing up, super huge dogs that are really the sweetest dogs who think they're lap dogs. After I let the dog out, I realized I forgot to put on her invisible collar, the type that beeped at her when she got too close to the edge of our property. In the time it took me to go back in and get the collar, I started to hear yelling. I was actually on the phone with my mom, letting her know I made it home safe when this started to happen. I was outside hearing yelling getting closer, and then I saw my neighbor from across the street was coming down my driveway. It took me a minute to understand what he was saying, but he said my dog had been across the street all night attacking his dog. I knew this wasn't true as I just let her out of our house, and if she had been over there, quote, all night, he would have done something before now. I tried to tell him that it wasn't possible it was my dog, but before I could get it out, he pulled out a gun and started shooting it. Luckily, it was into the air. All the while, he was threatening to kill my dog for, quote, attacking his dog. The whole time, I was on the phone with my mom, who was screaming at me to run back inside, but I couldn't as he was between me and the door. I put my house between me and him and tried to get away from him, worried he would turn the gun on me. Thankfully, we have off-duty police working at the haunted house, so they called us in so I didn't have to hang up with my mom. My neighbor eventually went back home screaming at me the whole time, and I was able to grab my dog and hightail it inside and lock the door. I made a statement to police and even got summoned to go to court. But because our judicial system sucks, they didn't call me to speak, and he got off with probation for unlawful discharge of a firearm, a no-contact order for a year, and had to surrender, quote, some of his guns for a year. Guess threatening bodily harm and endangering a minor doesn't count for much in this country. Needless to say, I was very happy to move away for college as soon as I could. I'm 38 now, and while this happened when I was 16, it still scares me how close I came to being shot by my drunken neighbor. And as a mom myself, I can't imagine the helplessness and terror my mom felt being on the phone with me as all this happened. Thank you for all you do, especially for mental health. I personally suffer from anxiety, and getting therapy has been one of the best decisions I've ever made for myself and my family. Love you all, Kristen.
Kristen, I didn't know that Yosemite Sam lived in Tennessee, but sounds like he does, because that's the only reason why you would act like this if you're a cartoon character.
Yeah, a drunk cartoon character who obviously has multiple firearms and thinks it's okay to just threaten a teenager about your dog, which it hasn't been over there all night, you dumb.
No.
It literally just got let out of the house.
Also, how many people have Great Danes in the neighborhood? Great Danes are very specific looking dogs.
They're huge.
So big. They're like
tiny horses.
Had a fucking Great Dane, and his wife had a teacup Yorkie. And I was like, these people these things live in the same house. They're like, they love each other, because the Great Dane's like a lap dog and was very cuddly.
Yeah, they are.
So you would know if a tiny horse was at your house all night, Yosemite Sam.
You would
have known
and
that.
This is unhinged. Even if he had been over there all night, you don't just walk around brandishing and shooting a firearm. Because guess what? Even when you shoot a gun into the air, there's a little thing called gravity, and that bullet is going to come down somewhere.
Yeah. No, I mean,
where does it come down? Somebody's house? Somebody's
head?
car?
Somebody's head?
On somebody?
Yeah.
You never know. One ended up in going through my garage door and straight into the cabinet of my laundry room. Yeah. Got lodged in the drywall. So they do land places, even if you're not specifically shooting them at somebody.
I think it was, maybe I was a kid, some guy in the eastern suburbs during 4th of July, New Year's Eve, something, was out in his yard, and a bullet came in. I mean, he survived to my recollection, but the bullet penetrated his head. Like, you're just in your yard and you literally get shot in the head but I think it was because, maybe it was enough to hit him and didn't kill. I don't know how it worked, but I remember as a kid being like, bullets can rain from the sky? And my mom would be like, yeah, they can. That's why we don't shoot guns in the air. But this guy never got that talk, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's disgusting too that he didn't get more for shooting a gun basically at a teenager. I mean,
that's what I think. You should get him.
I don't understand that. And some of your guns,
exactly.
You only need one gun to kill somebody.
I think if you make a mistake like this, you got to earn them back. And you have to go back to the judge each time you want another one of your guns back. Go back to the judge and tell them what you think you've done to deserve another gun, to get another gun back. And then maybe you can have one. But maybe not, if you haven't learned. If he's like, well, you gave me the last one out and I only shot it up in the sky 4 times. They're like, take it back.
Well, like, you don't get that one this time.
He's got to learn. Yeah, this is a wild guy. I'm glad you don't live there anymore, and I hope the haunted house has been moved away from Yosemite Sam.
Yeah.
That's
not the cool kind of thing, though, to like grow up where your parents are running a haunted house and you get to work there. That'd be super fun.
That's rad, dude. That is a rad way to go. And yeah, that's not the type of fright you want. Is it like, please exit to the haunted house on the right and you might get attacked by Frank Reynolds is out there, so I start blasting.
Dude, yeah. Wow. What an embarrassment, too. The next day you wake up hungover and you're like, did I shoot my gun into the air over a Great Dane at a 16-year-old? You did, sir.
Coming out of the haunted house?
You did.
Her clown makeup was still on and you still shot at her. God damn. Well, Kristen, you survived. When you get older and you think about the shit you endured as a teenager, you're like, if I heard a 16-year-old in my life, something like this happened, I would go to that man's house myself. But when it's you and you're just like, oh, whatever. It's crazy. We minimize
in the moment, you're like, I can't go over there. I'll get shot. Like, he's clearly out of his mind. So
he's a wacko. Yeah.
Get your dog, get in the house, and get
the fuck out.
Yeah. Get the fuck out. File a police report like you did. You did everything you should have. And I will agree that the judicial system sucks.
That's why we need to put Judge Christie in charge.
Oh, man.
Sinisterhood will be right back.
This episode is brought to you by IQBAR, our exclusive snack sponsor. IQBAR is the better-for-you, plant protein-based snacks made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash.
If you want to try everything IQBAR makes, the Ultimate Sampler Pack is the way to go. It includes 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix Sticks, and 4 IQ Joe Sticks. All of their products are gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and made without GMOs or artificial sweeteners. The bars are packed with clean plant protein, fiber, and brain-boosting ingredients like magnesium, lion's mane, and adaptogens. IQ Mix helps with hydration and focus, while IQ Joe delivers smooth, jitter-free energy with 200 milligrams of natural caffeine and flavors better than any drip coffee.
With over 20,000 five-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their busy lifestyles with IQBAR's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their ultimate sampler pack includes all three.
Guess what's in here?
You got some mushroom coffee in there?
No, this is my IQ Mix, my raspberry tea.
Ooh, that's
my
a
raspberry
good one.
lemonade. Raspberry lemonade,
one of my faves. Let me tell you what my new nightly routine has been. Eating an IQ bar in bed while I read by my little book light. And
cozy.
Peanut butter chip last night hit the spot. I was eating it and I was legitimately like, this is so good. I feel like I'm having a candy bar right now. But it really does keep you sustained, filled, full. You don't have that sugar crush, and they are the best tasting bars of any that I've tried. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. That doesn't have that like chalky, weird flavor like a lot of them do. They're so good. All the mixes are good. The mushroom coffees, that's the next thing I got to try. I'm not normally a coffee drinker, but I will drink mushroom coffee.
I'm the same. My Paris loves because he drinks coffee black. He loves just pour him in there. I'm like, where did all the IQ Joes go? He was like, oh, I've been drinking through them all. I was like, oh, okay, then I guess I'll drink the hydration mix then. So yeah, from the bars to the mixes, all of it is so good. And right now, IQBAR is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQBAR products, including the sampler pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text CREEPY to 64,000. Text CREEPY to 64,000. That's CREEPY to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
Text CREEPY to 64,000 to get 20% off all IQBAR products plus free shipping. Message and data rates may apply. Well, it segues into our next story, which perhaps a glimmer of hope with all of these and a different point of view. This is from your daughter.
Hello, sweetie.
And the subject line is, I work in the firearms industry. Content warning, this has discussions of multiple mass shootings. Anonymous writes, hello, Mother and Aunt Christy. I have been a listener for many years, and I've always admired how thoughtful and empathetic you both are. You've made me laugh hysterically, cry uncontrollably, and rage fiercely. This week, I've done a bit more crying. Hearing you talk recently about the trauma that ripples out from a tragic event and how it impacts large groups of people has made me mindful of how I experience the news of mass shootings. I work in the firearms industry. I've worked in the firearms industry for almost 10 years. The Orlando nightclub shooting happened my second week on the job. The Las Vegas shooting was the day before my grandma died. Members of my team are very close with the family in Uvalde. A big part of my job is to stay on top of what's happening in the world. I recently worked with a team in India to implement a new tool, and I felt so embarrassed and absurd telling them about a crisis alert I need for mass shootings. I know they knew why I needed it, and I know I didn't need to justify it to them. But in the end, I said, because this is America, and that's how it is here. And let me tell y'all, that is how it is here. I question why I work here every single time I get a crisis call, which is every day. And yet, I'm so ashamed of how desensitized I've become to the news of another mass shooting and how I can drag that email into a folder and move on with my day while others are having the worst day of their lives. I've cried so much this week. My oldest kid started kindergarten this week. I cried for all the normal reasons parents cry on their baby's first day of school, but also for the knowledge of where he's walking into. I cried for everyone affected in Minneapolis this week. I cried for Parkland, Uvalde, Sandy Hook, Columbine, Virginia Tech, and countless others. I cried for the parents who don't get to send their kids to school this year. I cried for the fact that there's nothing I can do about it, except that I can. I haven't quit my job in the past 10 years because I know I can use my role to influence change from the inside. My work is exposed to tens of thousands of people daily. I am infamously nitpicky about promoting safety, ethical hunting, and responsible gun ownership. I've spoken on panels about how our industry can do better about educating new gun owners. I've written 20 plus articles specifically about gun safety, and at least 100 more where I discuss safety as part of other topics. My leaders fully support the work I'm doing and have given me a lot of resources to do it because they know it's good for the company, community, and industry, and they know I'm passionate about it. I don't mean to toot my own horn by writing this or give the impression that my work is anything but a drop in the bucket. And I definitely don't intend to diminish the valid criticisms of the firearms industry, condone violence of any kind, or excuse the truly awful harm done by the industry. But I wanted to write in to spread a bit of hope and assure the best community of listeners on the planet that the firearms industry is not full of monsters. There are many of us who are trying to do good from the inside. It's a terrible feeling to know that it's not enough, but we'll still try. I also wanted to write in with a few tips and resources for listeners regarding gun safety, even if you don't own guns. The NSSF, National Shooting Sporting Foundation, has a ton of amazing resources on safety, education, storage, suicide prevention, how to talk with your kids, and more. The website is www.nssf.org. 1. Know the rules of gun safety. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger and don't point it at anything you don't intend to destroy. 2. Take a hunter's safety class and a concealed carry class. Knowledge is power. 3. Keep all firearms locked and stored securely at all times, and keep ammunition locked and stored separately. You can get a free gun lock from your local police station and from Project Child Safe. 4. Ask your friends and family how their firearms are stored, especially if your kids will be in their home. 5. If you have a loved one who is struggling with their mental health, remove all firearms from your home immediately, even if you don't think they are having suicidal thoughts or you don't think they know how to access your firearms. Don't risk their life. 6. Talk to your kids about gun safety and what they should do if they find a gun. 7. Finally, vote. Know who you're voting for. Vote for people who care and demand that the fucking dipshits who allow our children to be gunned down in schools are held accountable for their actions and inactions. The right to bear arms does not outweigh the right to live. The end.
Thank you, Anonymous, for sharing that perspective. And you listed off 6 events in this: Minneapolis, and you also mentioned Uvalde, Parkland, Sandy Hook, Columbine, Virginia Tech. I just quickly was curious. That is across just those, and you also mentioned a couple, but just those 6, 111 people were killed, 94 of whom were children under the age of 18. Mm-hmm. So that's only like a handful that we still remember. And like we said, I think there's like been more mass shootings than there have been days in the year once again.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, and these were specifically school shootings that you listed off. You also mentioned the Orlando nightclub shooting, the Las Vegas shooting.
Mm-hmm. Those are just schools, that I've
there's been,
so there's way more.
I mean, obviously the Minneapolis one that recently happened, unbelievably tragic. It's, I totally get it. I cry a lot because thinking of my kids going to school and the drills they have to go to, how desensitized they are almost becoming to this, or how conditioned they've become to this is normality for us, when the normal thing shouldn't be for our elementary school kids to have lockdown drills because a shooter could come into their classroom and blow them all away. The normal thing should be to increase gun laws and take those out of the hands of people that can do that, because the onus is not on our kids to keep themselves safe. That is our job as parents and as
society,
the government, school, society. So to put something so egregious and impossible, like saving your own life, hiding on the youngest and most vulnerable of our population is fucking nuts. It's just That's how much guns mean to people, that they are willing to go through Parkland, Uvalde, Sandy Hook, Columbine, Virginia Tech, the Minneapolis recent, all of these, and still vote for politicians that are like, well, we need to be able to have our guns.
Yeah, I mean, to where there's like zero regulation at all. Like, that's what is disturbing, where states are now removing even just like a concealed carry permit, where you like go in, you get a background check, you get a criminal history check, you go to a class, you take your little certificate that says, I did my class, I paid attention. I'm all fine for people that do all that. I think they should be allowed to have firearms because they're on a list, they're checked, they're trained, they're especially, like I said, they get a mental health screening. People don't want that. Too bad. Then you don't get to have a weapon of war.
Yeah,
in my
there's
opinion.
A waiting period.
Yeah. Once I was kind of like, well, there's quite a difference in like a revolver handgun that like half the time might not even shoot, and a literal weapon of war. And when I read that Washington Post breakdown with the actual physics of what a single bullet, much less multiples from an AR-15 does to the human body, no one in America should have one, period. Unless you, like I said, you're a soldier, you're in the military, that's fine. You should be trained on it. But the fact that I could go to Mesquite, my hometown, to the, where I used to go see Santa as a kid, and it's now a busted out mall, and they have these like gun shows there. And like when I went to the gun show, a kid in a high school t-shirt was like, yeah, if you have cash, I'll sell you one right now. Like, I could just have gotten it. So could he have. And it was just too loose, in my opinion. Too loose.
Oh, it's way too loose.
Too loose.
It's way too loose. I'm all for responsible gun ownership. Like you said, all those things listed off. I'm not for repeated mass shootings, repeated school shootings that every time, what is it? Well, we hope we can't believe this happened. How can we not believe it happened? I feel like,
why is anyone shocked?
Adults are the ones that are saying that. The kids, the 5th grade little boy that they interviewed that watched his best friend get shot in the neck in church was like, well, we trained for this in classrooms, so we knew what to do then, but we never trained for it in church, so no one really knew where to hide. So let that sink in.
Yeah.
But also, he was like, and so many other kids that I've heard speak are just like, well, we knew it'd happen eventually. So we all just, we're kind of prepared. And that's kind of the attitude so many of these kids have now, is like, at some point, this is going to happen at our school. Just like,
wouldn't they think
when
that?
Is it?
Why wouldn't they think
and
that?
It's because it's become so normalized. These drills that they have to do. There's huge posters in the halls of the school saying, drills and like what to do. A good friend of mine whose daughter just started kindergarten came home the other day and told her they had a lockdown drill, and that their teachers told them to hop like bunnies into the bathroom and stand on the toilet so the bad guy can't see your legs under the toilet stall.
Yep. You have to we're like little bunnies in a meadow.
That's
hiding.
A 5-year-old that's getting that message.
Yeah.
And then that 5-year-old's like, but why would the bad guy even be allowed in the school with a gun? That's a great question, 5-year-old, that we've all been asking since Columbine, and no one has gotten an answer that is good enough.
I don't want to put the weight on their shoulders because they've had the weight of growing up like that. But I am, like I said, my estimation is that will do something to you growing up that way, and it will make you fearless, I hope. And I will support you. Every kid that's in school, or every kid that's now graduated. I mean, we've been at this like 25 years now, that wants to run or whatever. I back everything to keep you safe. And like, you shouldn't have had your childhood stolen. And I'm sorry all of you did. No. Like, I feel like I really, truly am like one of the last graduating classes that got out that did not have my educational life stolen by. I thought about getting shot in my classroom 0 times. Like coming, like I said, after Columbine, maybe a couple of times, a little bit, but it was not the prevalence. And there are traceable policy reasons. And anytime people disagree or whatever, I'm like, I just urge you to look at the actual numbers. And I urge you to look at look into the faces of the people whose children were shredded by a weapon of war and say, your child doesn't matter. I'm sorry to tell you, your little boy doesn't matter. I know he was a little ROTC hero and he was trying to hold the door for his friends and he saved like 40 people and his body was annihilated. And I don't care because I want my thing. So I don't care. Me, Heather, the person is like, there's nothing I need in my life that I'm going to kill a kid for, period. Like that's just me. That's how I feel. So if it's like this law might save kids, but it might be an inconvenience to you, I'm like, all right, that's cool. I also pay taxes on schools that I have no children that attend because I like care about society. And like, I don't want there to be dumb people. So I'd like people to know how to read and write and do math and make friends and whatnot. So that's fine. Sometimes we pay for things that we don't necessarily use. And it's like, sometimes we have to pay for things that maybe will help somebody else's kid because we're all kind of family in this whole world. And like, I think people forget about that. So that's my soapbox. It's like, it ain't about you, Carl. Like, drop your fucking weapon.
Truly. And no one has gone into a school or committed a mass shooting that has not been struggling with a lot of mental health stuff.
Yeah.
For a myriad of reasons. So
100%.
That has to be addressed just as much as gun laws.
Insurance companies should know that my brain is in fact part of my body, much like my teeth and my eyes. So the insurance should cover all of the parts.
Yes.
Like, who told them they were allowed to go like, yeah, but not the mind stuff. Like insurance.
Not the most important thing that like controls everything in your whole fucking system.
It drives the bus. And they're like, let's neglect that one.
Yeah. That'd be like if they're like, well, we'll treat everything but your heart. Yeah. So if something happens there, you're on your own.
Yeah, your car's extended warranty covers all of it but the engine. So if the window goes out, we'll fix that. You know, the tires, anything like that. But if the engine's out, yowza, deal with that on your own. What if I can't? It just breaks and it might explode and kill people. Not our fault. It's like, no, it is your problem because it's part of my body. So there's a lot of shit. I think we're on the precipice. We're in a fourth turning season. I think we're a lot of shit's about to change around here if I've got anything to say about it. And I got a lot to say about it.
Yeah, people are definitely
fed the fuck up.
They're fed the fuck up and they've been fed the fuck up, but it's like fed the fuck up now in a way where it's almost like, I don't want to say people don't have control over their emotions and how fed the fuck up they are, but it is reached a level that I have not seen before of like, from like the Chicago mayor who's like, I am not gonna fucking call Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Like, people just like calling people out, or parents on the news that are just like, we fucking had it. I saw this guy being interviewed by Don Lemon on the streets. It was just like, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you can fuck off. We have fucking had it. And just like, people don't care. Cause like, it's like, what's the alternative? We get gunned down in the streets? Well, that could happen anyway. So you might as well let your voice be heard and try to change something.
No, truly. I mean, I agree with that. And I think people are feeling that way. I've seen so many, as despondent as everyone wants to be. And honestly too, I'm always like, if you think it's political for us to talk about little kids getting shot up, like, fuck you. No, it isn't. It's like, that's what's right and wrong. It's morals. Yeah. So no. But I will say, like, I think there is a wave of a lot of veterans and a lot of moms running for House for the first time. And in my political opinion, the House of Representatives is the key to undoing a regime, truly, because the House Judiciary Committee, the Oversight Committee, there's so much subpoena power. There's so much power in the House. The House is how Richard Nixon got taken down with Watergate. Richard Nixon was doing fuck shit for like a good 2 years. Shady shit, maybe not quite this shady, but like pretty shady shit. And it was because the House, the Democrats won the House and they got enough good, 5 or 6 Republicans is really all it takes. And we've already had 4 sign on for the full release of the Epstein files, the full unredacted release, Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert, an interesting motley crew.
It is interesting. Especially since I just said all that about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Cause then I saw another one that was like, this is the only thing I've ever agreed with her about.
Really? That's why I said, I was like, I'm confused and like happy, but also like, why though?
Yeah. I always feel like everything is orchestrated to benefit people and I'm the organization and government. I'm also like, what did you see that you were like, oh, fuck no, I can't be a part of this anymore?
And that's what, and Nancy Mace has used her own experience with sexual assault to just be one of the most just antagonists to the trans community. So she can get fucked 1,000 times, in my opinion. But I will say the look on her face running out of the Epstein hearing, sobbing, I do think she saw and heard some things. I cried when I was hearing that publicly available Epstein evidence, much less whatever is going on behind closed doors. So, you know, the fact that she was that she was willing to sign on to that when they've been told by the president, it is a hostile act for you to support Epstein transparency. And if it's a hoax, then why is it a hostile act? And if it's just made up. But anyways, all that to say is, I mean, I watched 2 hours of these, you know, women on this press conference, and it is
so brave for
fed
doing
the
this.
fuck up. And the fact that Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene have said, if you don't pass this bill, by the way, and a DOJ official was caught on a hot mic today saying we will redact the Republican names, but not the Democrat names. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Thomas Massie said, as a representative of the House, we have legislative immunity. So we can get up and say anything we want on the House floor, and we cannot be sued for defamation. So ladies, make your own list and give it to me, and I'll go read it for you on the House floor, and I won't get sued. And that's what Marjorie Taylor Greene offered as well. Like, they both have said, we'll take turns. We'll read every other name. So I think we're all kind of at the point that we're fed up, and it's like, this list is, it's like Watergate. Some break-in at a hotel is going to be the thing. Yes. Like, sometimes it's like a weird thing that cracks a regime. So I say remain hopeful, but we've got to win the House. I mean, that is like, you got to, that's important. And you have to have people with backbone standing up. So good on you.
Yeah. All of these survivors are incredibly brave. Melanie Stansbury's the bulldog. The survivors have said, we know who was there. Like, we were sexually assaulted by them. We can put a list together ourselves, and it would probably be a more complete list than what would be released anyways. So I hope that everyone involved in this that is on the right side stays safe and is protected, because if Stansbury, what she said is correct, like, this is going to bring down everyone from the top. She said it goes all the way to the top. There are people on there that are really, really, really in charge, and that's why they don't want it released. Others have said it's going to break apart an entire sex trafficking ring. I mean, this has been going on for decades. And while the women that are survivors are giving their victim impact statements and everything now are adults, they were not when this happened.
I mean, just thinking how little and scared they were. And all of them talked about like how they felt in the moment. And a lot of the women had been trafficked from Eastern Europe on modeling visas. So, you know, you're now have the immigration angle, like who was giving you these visas and just letting you bring these women in, and the intelligence angle, which I think is exactly what you're speaking to, that there was some human trading in exchange for information trading or favors. And when Thomas Massie was asked, like, essentially, was Jeffrey Epstein an intelligence asset? He was like, the safest way for me to answer that is to say, we would like the documents from the CIA. So, like, yes, basically he is. So, like, shit like that's like, what have you seen? And then get out on the floor and fucking spill it. Fuck it. Pull the ripcord. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, it's scary because they're so threatening, but at the same time, they're a bunch of pussies. And if everyone is like, fuck it, and just releases these names and that becomes public, things will start to take care of themselves, I hope.
That's what I'm thinking too. So fingers crossed. Like I said, it seems like it's not that important. No, it's vitally important, because I think that's the swamp. Like, and maybe that's why Marjorie Taylor Greene signed on. She's like, I thought I was fixing to drain the swamp. I've been duped. And or they sort of cut her out of the inner circle, which is my opinion. Same with all three of them, is I think they all were willing to sign off because maybe they're being distanced already from the president, and they're like, fuck it. Like, I might as well try to get another career. I don't care. Thanks for the help.
Yeah. It's
we won't forget all the other shit you did.
No, absolutely not. It's interesting that the majority of them are women, and I think that's telling. Like, there's only so much you can read, watch, listen to before even the most coerced person is like, oh my God, what am I doing? And let me be frank, I can't stand any of them. But if they want to hop on over to the light side for a bit and help everyone out, then, you know, that would do wonders for their reputations.
I'm like, sacrifice yourselves on the pyre. You owe us all. But Marjorie Green made a comment a couple months ago saying the Republicans do not treat women well. And I was like, we're just fighting.
Where have you been, Marjorie?
It made me think something maybe happened and that she all of a sudden started saying that. And I was like, ooh, this woman knows stuff. And she's fitting to start talking. So,
or I feel like all those women and men currently, like, they all see stuff. These parties still go on. These people are still like rubbing shoulders with everyone. So, you know, you see something fucked up enough, it changes you.
Yeah. And honestly, it's more eyes on it. So when we covered it in 2019, I had no idea we would still be talking and what extent that we would still be talking about it. But if it is what takes it down, you know, whatever it takes.
So be it. Yeah.
So mote it be.
So mote it be.
Sinisterhood will be right back. Well, this next one's from Kristen, and the subject line is My Creepy Kid and the Dead Magic in the Basement. Dear Heather and Christy, obviously, I love you so much. Let's be best friends. For real, I've been a patron since I've been able. You've kept me alive and cheering for all of us during the early days and long nights of new motherhood, my ADHD diagnosis, and the ongoing fight for our rights and humanity. You've given me strength. Thank you. When our son was born, after a very long infertility journey during which other spooky stuff happened, 5.5 years ago, one of my secret life goals was for him to be a spooky kid. It worked, although probably helped by the fact that his mom has her tarot cards, crystals, and magic out in front of him, and he's been playing with the, quote, rocks since he was a baby. I've always had a strong relationship with energy, ritual, and the unseen. I grew up Catholic, got witchy in my 20s after my mom screamed at me in my teens about wanting to worship what? And I carry my own cast of spirits around. Ever since he was a baby, his eyes have tracked things we couldn't see. Normal for most babies. As soon as he could speak, he would call out shadows. We've always talked to and explained things to him like he's a real person and told him how shadows and light work. One night, when he was around 2.5, we were sitting in his big, cozy glider chair reading before bed, and he said, Mommy, I'm scared of the shadows. I said, I know, Bubby, but they can't hurt you. Remember, shadows are just the places where the light is blocked from getting through. He replied, Yes, but my shadows have tiny eyes. And he put his hands in front of his eyes in tiny fists and opened them into hands, like eyes blinking open. Yikes. There were a couple other weird incidents, but nothing that couldn't be explained by being a tiny kid with an imagination. And then we moved into a new house. It was on a cul-de-sac. My inner former cool girl scoffed at me. And energetically, this created a weird energy. The cul-de-sac was newish, built in the 90s. The land in Boulder County, Colorado, belongs to the Native American people. I believe specifically the Arapaho Niwot people. Many things are named after Chief Niwot. After the cul-de-sac was built, several families lost children. A little girl was struck on her bicycle. 2 grown children died, one by car accident, one by alcoholism, right after her father died of a heart attack in the driveway. And 2 others had deaths. That's a lot for 6 houses on a small, incomplete circle. Energy leaves a mark. One night, I was coming up from our basement. We had a small home gym. My son, now 3, appeared at the top of the stairs. Mommy, who's that man? What man? The man behind you. There's no one down here, baby. Yes, there is. He then proceeded to tell me about this man. It wasn't the first time he had seen him. He had a beard and a mustache, and he was dirty. He was dressed in a big jacket and long pants that were also dirty, and he looked really sad all the time. He walked all over our house and our yard like he was looking for something. My son continued, I think he misses his family. Oh, wow, buddy. Thank you for telling me. Does the man feel scary to you, or does he just feel sad? He feels sad, he said. But the other man is really scary. What other man? I asked. There's another man. He mostly stays in the basement. He wears all black all over. He has glowing red eyes. And then he did the thing with his hands again, blinking them open from at least a year prior. He doesn't like us. Why not, buddy? He shrugged. Then I asked my son, why doesn't he like to leave the basement? To which he replied, him has a box of dead magic down there. What the fuck is dead magic? Girls, at this point, all of my, we are very calm and non-reactive, very gentle parents went out the fucking window. I looked at my husband and said, he's sleeping in our bed tonight, grabbed the black salt and did some energy protection work as I called a friend who is much better versed in the art than me. We were lying in bed an hour or so later, watching The Big Bang Theory, and little son looks at the door to our bedroom. Mommy, that thing you did with the salt, it didn't work. The sad man just came through. I told him, as long as the man with the red eyes doesn't come in, the sad man is okay. My friend came to visit, and between in-person and remotely, we went through a few months of making offerings to the native peoples and spirits of the land, holding space for those who are ready to cross over, and generally creating healing and protective energy. We've since moved, and our new space seems clearer. But what the fuck is dead magic, and where did he ever learn or hear about that? Still, I love having a spooky kid that asks to play cards, read tarot, and hold crystals and meditate. We have a game where he picks a deck and I pick a deck, and we each choose a card from our decks and lay it out. It's often a similar or the same card. We have a special bond, but his little spirit has been hanging around me for a long, long time. As I tell him, I called him from the stars. More on that another time. With love and gratitude for you both, Kristen.
Kristen. Him has a box of dead magic down there.
Shut it down. Shut it. Like she said, he's sleeping in our bed tonight. We don't have a basement anymore. Boarding
and
that
we
up.
also, we're sealing off the basement. Okay. You put the gym upstairs. I don't know what dead magic is, and I don't know what a box of it is either.
Thank you, but no thank you. I don't want one.
I might go poking around seeing what I can find out there. I don't want to stir anything up, but if I'm told a box of dead magic is somewhere, I will look for a box.
What is, yeah, like, oh yeah, you need to like get it out of there. Cause I think like no amount of cleansing is going to offset if you've got like something, I don't know, radiating bad shit from down there. Why
did my first thought go to the fact that there's a ventriloquist dummy in a box somewhere in this basement? That is all I could think, because it was once alive and now it's dead magic and he's in a box.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like, I don't know, this is complete speculation, but if the spirit entity, the all wearing all black with the red eyes, had been conjured by someone trying to do like necromancy, like trying to like bring a spirit forth, and it wasn't the right one, or God, what a bitch too. You're like in the spirit realm. You're like, I got pulled through. This isn't even my family. Door closed behind me. I can't get back. I'm fucking stuck here.
Everybody's scared of me. I'm just trying. I wanted to work out and she keeps coming down here. Now her kid is like, I can't even get out now because they put salt everywhere.
And the kid's like, oh, what are you doing down here? Somebody did some fucking dead magic, kid. I don't know. I'm trying to get back to Toledo. I'm stuck here though. Yeah, no, it sucks. Like the idea to think that a spirit that is like brought there unwillingly. Cause I'm like, they're not going to be happy. I'm not going to be happy if I'm brought somewhere against my will. But no. You did the right thing moving.
There's a lot to be said for how much tragedy occurred in this cul-de-sac too. And, you know, I mean, didn't they live on a cul-de-sac in Poltergeist? I think so. Maybe.
Well, that certainly adds to it.
But their energy leaves a mark, and, you know, it sounds like there was a lot of stuff there, and they say kids are closer to the veil, and if it's being, I wouldn't say encouraged, but not discouraged, then I think that sticks with you. You know, if you're like, you didn't see anything, you're dreaming, then maybe they stop to see the things that really are there. I love this. Everybody picks a tarot deck and then pull a card, because I have a tarot deck for kids that I've been trying to get Ella into, but this is fun too, because all three of us can pull one and then like read and see how it ties together. I love that. Thank you for that suggestion.
And it gives you such a way to use all your different decks too.
Yes.
Like busting them all out. Fuck yeah. And playing with rocks, aka crystals. That's so sweet. I love that. You can share all this with your kid. It's going to make his life great.
I'm going to have to get all of mine down to where they can touch them because I'll put up.
Don't touch my rocks. These are the rocks you can play with.
Yes. They'll have, Ella's got an entire bowl
she's got her
own rocks in her room.
You got to get her to like look up what the properties of them all are.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
She's got to give you a run for your money with her crystal collection. Well, thank you.
I hope she does.
Thank you, Kristen. Sinisterhood will be right back. This next one is from Cassie, and the subject line is, was it just a dream? Hello, my parasocial BFFs, Christy and Heather. My sister and I are both huge fans of the podcast. I'm in Houston, but she lives in Denton, so I'm frequently in your neck of the woods. A couple years ago, we did a little tour de Sinisterhood and visited Dealey Plaza, the Wax Museum, and the Goatman Bridge. We had a blast at Full Moon Energy last year and hope to come to the Season of the Witch show. Now, on to the story. Growing up, we lived on an acre of land that backed up to the woods. My bedroom window faced the back, so it was just the empty yard and then woods. It was very well lit, though, with floodlights my dad had mounted. It sort of reminded me of a baseball field at night. When I was about 7 or 8, I had this nightmare that for some reason affected me more than others or any before or after. I've always described it as the most, quote, real dream I ever had. In this dream, I looked out my window in the middle of the night and saw multiple black figures hovering in the yard. They were like black hooded figures. Imagine the last ghost in the creepiest version of A Christmas Carol you've ever seen, but just in shape. Not like an actual physical garment that I can make out. There were no faces, hands, or feet, just the figures. They were just there, standing or hovering, spread apart throughout the yard. In the very bright, well-lit yard. I'm attaching a random stock image I found that is close to what I saw. So, it was not the worst or scariest dream I had had, but what made it different is that it just felt so real. Even well into adulthood, it would freak me out to think about because it was so clear, so vivid, and honestly, really did not feel like a dream. But it had to be, of course. Here's where it gets freaky. I never told anyone else about that dream, as it just never came up. But one night, a few years ago, I was hanging out with my family, and we all started talking about spooky experiences. My sister proceeded to tell us about this so real, so affecting dream she had in that house. And it was the exact same as mine. She looked out that back window and saw those same figures. I, of course, then freaked out and told her about my experience. Maybe the whole thing is just one of those wild coincidences, but either way, it made for a very freaky evening. Thank you for making it this far, Cassie.
Oh, Cassie. Well, Cassie also wanted to acknowledge what you said at the end there about your kitties, too, that we didn't include, but you wrote a little note to us, and they're beautiful, and we're so sorry for your loss.
Look at those babies, Bert
They're
and Ernie.
so very sweet.
From this Bert and Ernie to your Bert and Ernie, we're sending them.
Yes. The other picture you attached, not so cute, and makes me want to popple myself into oblivion.
So, I mean, it looks exactly like what you said. Even in like Scrooged, the big evil ghost at the end is like this death essentially in a big shroud. Mm-hmm. Looking out into a spooky yard that's dark and you see a shrouded figure, you're like probably a shadow or whatever. If there's fucking floodlights and more than one of them, you're like, well, I know what I'm seeing here.
I don't want to say that you got a Burbs situation going on, but just go watch the Burbs. And maybe it'll answer some questions for you. But this was your yard. It wasn't your neighbor's yard. So that makes it even scarier. I'm reading a lot of stuff about dreams and precognitions and psychic stuff right now. And one of the things I've been reading about is like how people can train themselves to like meet in dreams and stuff. Or if they're just like on the same wavelength, they might have the same dreams. Mm-hmm. So at the very least, you and your sister, for whatever reason on the same night, maybe, I don't know, had that dream. Or you both looked outside and saw these cloaked figures having some kind of ceremony in your backyard.
The cloaked figures communion. No, that's fascinating. That's a really good point. I hadn't even thought of that because I think in the last year, they were doing tests with MRI machines on people as they sleep, telling, like, you and I would be next to each other and they put them on our heads and then we go to sleep and I wouldn't be told the word, but you would be told the word.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're supposed to find and meet each other. And that, like, a good percentage of the time, people were able to do it. So I don't know what that says.
I got some exercises marked for us in my Wikipedia book that I've been reading.
It's happening.
WICCApedia.
Hell yeah. Between that and Bob Monroe and shit, like, I think we're going to be, in my Joseph McMoneagle books, we're going to be remote viewing by year's end. But that is so freaky to look out and see that. I hope they don't ever come back. It doesn't sound like they ever did, but man, get on some lucid dreaming, and next time you see him, you like talk to him or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It's so weird that it happened only the once too. I don't know. Shit like that. I'm like, did something open that I don't know. Or was it the way shadows were cast by these floodlights? If that's the case, your dad needs to pull them all down.
Yeah, dude, fix them, dude.
Horrifying. Don't do that, Daddy.
I can't be waking up in the night and seeing that shit. He's like, what? I was testing out Halloween decorations and I fell asleep, but I took them down in the morning. And you're like, you have to tell us that if they go up after we go to bed and are taken down before we wake up. We can't be tricked.
No, because for 30 years, we've held on to this trauma that there were ghouls in the backyard.
We thought it was only us. Oh, how fun. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Cassie. And I hope they do not come back. But like I said, do some Tibetan dream yoga and beat their ass if they do. Well, this final one is from Renata, and the subject line is Serendipity. Sinisterhood will be right back. Hello, friends. I've been listening to you both for about a year now. You two were truly my two buds in my headphones while recovering from a severe eye injury earlier this year, and I was trapped in my dark bedroom for weeks, not able to see. So let's get to the story I've been contemplating on sending y'all now for months. In my early 20s, I worked as a surgical nurse on a hospital unit for colorectal and gynecology. I loved it. It was my first nursing position out of school, and I adored my coworkers, the culture, and the patients. There's truly something so beautiful about sitting with people in the worst days and also in the small victories, like tooting after colorectal surgery. One day on my way to work in the evening shift, I was puttering along in my little car when I realized I had a flat tire and couldn't make it to the station, and I would need to pull over and change the tire to my spare. No problem, I thought. I'm a strong, independent kind of woman, and changing a tire isn't a problem. That is until I realized I didn't have a jack in my car or a cell phone to call anyone for help. So I stood there on the ramp off the highway, attempting to wave someone down. Finally, a trio of men stopped to help. 2 older gentlemen and a younger guy. Despite pulling up in an unmarked white van, I was grateful for their help, and they truly were salt-of-the-earth type guys. I joked that if they ever needed colorectal or gynecological surgery, I'd be their gal. I gave them a handshake and went off to work. Several months rolled by when I received an admission to my empty bed from the ER. Young patient coming in on the weekend, so low staff and resources were available. Freshly diagnosed with colorectal cancer. The true devil of cancers, in my opinion. He was wheeled up to my unit and we locked eyes. In one moment, we both started crying, realizing he was that young man who helped me fix my tire. We lived in a very large city with lots of hospitals and he could have landed at. I sat with him long after my shift ended that night, talking about life, our choices, about his family and his future. He was determined to beat the cancer, and I was determined to walk with him in that season. His mom and I became very close over the years, every time he was readmitted to my unit for complications, and I would have that gut feeling before I even got to work. Eventually, he lost his battle, and I mourned my patient in a way only healthcare workers can really understand. He was my buddy, and I still think about sitting with him, holding his hand and thinking about the unique ways that our lives cross paths. I hope I was a small light in his life during some of his hardest days. He changed my life, and I will always be thankful for the impact he left on me.
Well, Renata, clearly you changed his life. He obviously recognized you immediately, and that release of, emotion you both had shows that, like, he remembered that. And he also, I think, felt that, you're like, I feel a little more taken care of, a little bit like I've, you know, he could have landed in a hospital, but you were at this hospital and that's where he needed to be. That is the devil of all cancers. My mom's mom passed away from colon cancer before I was ever born, and it takes you down so fast.
It really, yeah. My dad's mom had colon cancer, and you're right. It's just rips through, and it's rough and it's fast. Mm-hmm. And it is becoming apparently more common in younger patients, and I believe younger male patients. So a word to the wise, if you have a change in bowel movements that's sudden or different or whatever they say, go ahead and go get checked out as soon as possible. You know, you'd rather catch it early, but you're right, Christy. I bet when he saw her walk towards him, you know, you're kind of like, this is the worst day of my life. And it's like, oh, thank God, at least it's somebody I know. Like, and like, I barely know you, but like, I still know you. Like, thank God it's you. So I love, I'm a family of nurses, so I'm biased, but bless nurses and like, bless you for what you do. And when you come out of surgery, you feel like shit. You look like shit. You feel like you're embarrassing, especially if it's something with your butt or your vagina. And it's like, this is so awful. And having a nurse who's like delights in it with you and is like, we do need you to fart though. And like, when I've had my, when I kept saying I was getting finger trapped by my, and my GI doctor was like, please stop saying that to thousands of people. But when I came out of that, you know, it's like a procedure, and they were like, you know, you have to toot, and being silly and like joking around and just like having that warmth, it makes such a difference when you're feeling like shit. So thank you.
Yeah. Any nurse or any healthcare provider that sits with patients like this in their darkest days and then mourns them and remembers them and still talks about them so they're not forgotten. You are doing the best work there is.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for sharing this with us.
Yeah, this was serendipitous, perfectly named. It absolutely was. Well, thank you so much, Renata, for sending in that story. And thank you to everyone for sending in your Freaky Friday stories. If you have an odd but true story, maybe you've encountered Bigfoot, you've seen a UFO, you had a brush with true crime, or you felt the presence of an otherworldly being, send them in at sinisterhood.com/Freaky Friday. And speaking of freaky, have you got something creepy caught on camera? Found a weird or unexplainable clip online? Maybe you just have a funny video you want us to see. Well, send it our way and we'll live react to it during Sunday Scaries, our weekly live stream over on Patreon every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. It's totally free. You just send your email, you get automatic access. We have the best time.
Hell
Everyone comes correct with the videos every week. I have seen the inside of more birds than I could ever have imagined in my life.
I was just going to say, like, what, you know, if you're like Sunday Scaries, like, what kind of stuff do you watch? Wow. Does it run the gamut? Cause like, we might watch a young lady win an ice skating competition dressed like, she's riding on a giant chicken. We might also watch just all kinds of fucked up birds you've never seen before. Mm-hmm. Old commercials from the 70s. Weird facts about people not paying their taxes. I mean, it really runs the gamut.
That one man's dating profile video, dude. Stabby Tabby comes correct, man. Y'all don't know. Y'all got to get over there. I think that was Stabby Tabby that sent that in. If not,
I think so.
Then whoever did, you
all hail.
But y'all all did such great videos. Yeah, it's
the whole crew.
And it's totally free, and it's a fun way to end your Sunday, start your Monday. Although we have many listeners from Australia that are like, it's the middle of the day here. So we're like, whatever day it is, we love for you to join us. It's so much fun for us, and it's totally free. So very few things in this world are free anymore. Yeah, and you also get, just by putting in your email and becoming a free member, you get a ton of free backlog stuff that you can make your way through. So absolutely, it's really a win-win situation.
Come join the community. That's the best part, is just messing around with y'all on Sundays.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's so funny in the
chat.
Crack
a cornbread and just get fucking crazy.
Oh, it's so fun. It's a lot of fun. Well, if you like our free episodes like the one you just heard, you'll love our Patreon bonus content. You can join for free to see what we're up to next, or dive into over 1,000 hours of bonus content like Judge Christie, where I rule on petty grievances you bring before the court. True Crime Headlines, where we break down the latest news and updates in true crime. Heather Saves, where anything Heather has found late night scrolling could be discussed, and Am I the Asshole? Unpopular opinions and other subreddits that we feel require our input.
Also, if you want to check out all of that bonus content and it's behind a paywall, don't worry. We have a free trial. It's different from the free membership, which you can stay on as long as you want. At free trial, you join for a week at any of the tiers, check out all the perks, and cancel anytime before the trial is over without getting charged. But if you do stick around, do that annual membership, so you get a month free. What else do you get?
You get ad-free episodes, monthly live stream Q&As, quarterly live bonus content. We let you all vote on what you want us to do, so we could do a live Am I the Asshole? Or Unpopular Opinions. It's a ton of fun to participate in the chat and for us too. Weekly audio bonus content, mini-sodes, merch discounts, and like so many have said, a community of the best listeners on the whole internet.
Head over to Sinisterhood.com, click shop on the top banner to check out Sinisterhood merch like t-shirts, mugs, totes, stickers, and even clothes for your kiddos.
While you're on our website, you can also review the show. Thank you so much to everyone that's reviewed and left 5 stars. You can submit topics and cases you'd like us to cover. You can find fun things like topic-based playlists and tickets for Season of the Witch on October 4th at Texas Theater in Dallas, Texas, and Crime Wave at Sea 2025, November 3rd through 7th, leaving out of Fort Lauderdale, coming back, maybe in another dimension. We don't know. TBD.
They're like, please stop saying we're not going to dock. We will dock on Friday. It's like, the ship will dock, but will we all be different? Time will tell.
We won't know. Will time even be the same?
It will not. Well, follow us over on Instagram and Threads at Sinisterhood Pod. Like us on Facebook at Sinisterhood. Follow us on YouTube and TikTok at Sinisterhood Podcast to watch clips from the episodes, live streams, and more. And if you're looking for a unique and personal gift for the Sinisterhood fan in your life, or you just want to treat yourself to a pep talk, book a Cameo now. From happy birthdays to birth announcements to congrats on whatever accomplishment, we would love to create a customized video that can be immediately viewed and sent. It's a thoughtful gift. It's a custom gift. You don't have to leave your house to get the gift. Couldn't do better than that. Go to cameo.com/Sinisterhood. Where are you at on the internet?
I'm on Instagram and Threads at Christy M. Wallace and TikTok at Christy or GTFO. Heather?
I'm across the WWW at Heather versus the world.
As always, the devil rules the airwaves.
Keep it creepy.